that Socke definitely knows exactly what is going on. So he is choosing to play with Templar for the time being. He has those Phoenix from the Stargate. He's just sticking with 3, which is the right call. Don't want any more than that. And he can use them to lift up the siege tanks and then just fight fair infantry against infantry. It'll be a Ghost and Templar duel to see who can use their special abilities better to overpower their opponents. And it looks like Satiini planning to push out here, laying down a new command center, salvaging both of these barracks. He has a pretty strong force. Look at that army tab real quick. It is considerably larger, approximately 1,000 resources larger than his opponents, also better teched. Let's talk on that tech tab. So he is slightly ahead in tech, but he doesn't have those tech buildings. So he has invested in Stim. I know I saw him producing it. There it is. So that'll be done pretty soon. The Marines do have their combat shield, and the runners do not have concussive shells. So a pretty strong force. We'll see if this does move out. Meanwhile, tons of motion probes just bouncing around everywhere. And Socke looks like he's planning to sweep around the south side. Looks like he's rallying forces maybe here to try to push on his opponent's base. And doing a very, very nice job saturating his third expansion. Look at that income tab. 57 workers so far, so both players more or less tied. But once this third expansion is fully up and running, the Protoss player will pull ahead. And we do have the first engagement here. The siege tanks are pressing up. We see this pylon thanks to the air support, so that goes down. And Socke looking like he does not want to engage quite yet. He is outnumbered, probably recognizes this, especially because he's operating off what will soon be a fourth base, trying to hold that gold expansion. But I suspect he is going to lose this. He's just going to cancel and pull out. Knows that against this force, it's just not worth it. It's better to pull back and delay. Siege tank sitting here makes it very, very hard to defend this choke point, because if you're standing here, half your forces are getting pummeled. So he is pulling back. Lots of Templar, so he will be able to punish his opponent if he's overextending himself, but certainly cannot hold that center gold expansion. Meanwhile, Satiini, he is fully intent on taking it. This pushes all he needs to secure that middle, and this is a safe expansion to put up. My guess will be a planetary fortress here. He's got these command centers, another command center here, throw a whole bunch of mules down, and that'll be a hard point to break. And we are pressing in here from Satiini. He's going to take the most quick pylon, and chance for a two-pronged attack. The Phoenix, unfortunately, too aggressive, trying to get in there. They grab 2 siege tanks, but they're in just a little bit too early, and there we go. Guardian Shield, EMP's going off. Do we see the Psystorm? These are all grouped up. A devastating Psystorm right on these Marines. All the Marines are going down. And with no Marines left, these siege tanks are just going to be torn to pieces, and these medevacs forced to retreat. How many of those are going to go down in the meanwhile? Looks like none. The siege tank reinforcement is able to cut off the chase. And a pretty devastating fight for both sides, but the Terran push is pushed back. Looks like this siege tank probably going to get sniped in a moment by this force, and Socke looking pretty good, being able to force that Terran army back, operating nicely off of 3 expansions here, and we'll see if he's doing any tech switches. Looks like not, just building more Phoenix, just so he can keep 3 on at once to lift up those siege tanks. And a nice block of gateways and warp gates here to warp in tons of Templar, Zealots, Stalkers, and Sentries. You'll see he has got the Zealot speed, and he has got the Psystorm and the energy. So a very, very nice tech army, and we also are seeing a fleet beacon and weapons upgraded. So we might see a transition into Void Rays, so the second Stargate. So we might see Void Rays with Flux Veins, or perhaps Carriers. Since he does have the economy to support them, Carriers could be an excellent tool. Tons of activity going on here. An army massing and a bunch of long-distance mining probes. Not really sure why he's doing that. They're probably going to end up over here, since he doesn't seem interested in taking a Nexus here. And looking at that army tab real quick, the 2 sides are more or less equal both in supply and resources, but I do have to give the slight edge to Socke right now, just for tech reasons. He does have a pile of Templar there. That is a lot of Templar, and could really chew up this force. Not enough Ghosts to really counter that many Templar. But Socke's forces are really strung out here, and the scan's going down, so he is seeing these. Socke pulling back, doesn't want to get ambushed, but these 2 Phoenix continuing to scout, maybe do some harassment. I wouldn't be surprised if no. There is a missile turret there, and the Phoenix will be driven off. These Templar lagging behind. This is a good time for an ambush. Maybe Satiini, he is pressing with a Ghost. He might get a good EMP off. Oh, this is getting close. He does get it. And almost every single one of these Templar have their energy drained. Only 3 of them able to do Psystorm. So it looks like he's making Archons immediately, because those guys are completely useless now. So his 4th base is up and running. So both players operating off 4 bases. There is a planetary fortress here at the gold expansion, and we are going to get an engagement here. These Archons getting shot from behind, and Psystorms all over the place, EMP killing the rest of their energy, and the Templar forces just not being able to do anything. A couple Psystorms, that was it. And these Zealots do turn around to engage, but it looks like with those EMPs, this Protoss force is going to get destroyed. Sure, those siege tanks get lifted, but that's just going to delay the inevitable. This Archon is very powerful, but I don't see how Satiini's going to lose this fight. Down come those siege tanks, and the rest of the Protoss force is annihilated. So it's a good thing there are this many gateways up and running, because he needs an army and he needs it fast. Fortunately, his opponent was hurt pretty bad. Look at all those ghosts. He currently has 6 ghosts, and most of them have a lot of energy, so tons of EMPs ready to go from Satiini, and he is holding that hard point in the middle. He has this gold minerals with some defenses, so he is looking really good right now. But more units being warped in, some Templar, and more ground forces. Looks like they're going to push this base a second time. And going to be hard to do that, since Satiini has this middle position. It's easy for him to push out. You know, if he comes here with those Templar again, he could EMP them. It's just such a good position to move out from. But these forces are getting through. It looks like he did not see them, and here they come. He's going to do some serious damage to these SCVs. Those speedy Zealots pick apart a couple of SCVs. More reinforcing Templar coming. Only he does control the Zelniga Watchtower, so he sees these. He can intercept them if he wants to, but it looks like he's going to come defend this expansion. He's going to lose the command center, but almost all the SCVs made it out. If only Socke will notice this, he can move forward and kill those SCVs, but instead I guess he's going to focus on taking out all these little buildings here to delay the re-establishment of the space. And here comes the push. Going to trap the small marauding Protoss force, only 1 Templar, so this is another force of Socke that is going to get torn apart. Nice Psystorm, but just no point. Look at all those ghosts. No way any force is going to survive against that much Terran infantry. No upgrades, just stim. Surprised we aren't seeing that yet. But we are seeing carriers coming out for Socke, so he's making that tech switch. Good call. So many ghosts makes Templar hard to use well. He did do some damage there, delaying this expansion, so his opponent will either push out in anger or just reestablish things. And level 2 weapons, so he is really committing to these carriers, which would be interesting to see. So 4 carriers, 3 of them already operating with tons and tons of interceptors, and we might be seeing a push here. No missile turrets, it's just Marines, so we could see a pretty big push here from Socke. The Marines stimming, trying to catch, and there's the Protoss force. Nice EMP on the main force, but so many interceptors flying around. The siege tank, I'm thinking, will get quickly overrun by these interceptors. There it goes, and the Protoss force, the ground force, can probably just waltz in here right now if it wanted to. And those interceptors flying around, I'm sure many of them did get shot down, but most of them probably still alive. And a response from Satiini is he is throwing down tons of barracks with reactors. So it looks like he is going for a Marine, and with a fusion core, that is a Marine battlecruiser combo. So both players thinking about going for tier 3 air at this point. And a nice Psystorm there right in the middle of the Terran forces, those ghosts. Another Psystorm on the ghost, and oh my goodness, that was every single ghost. Is that 7 or 8 ghosts killed with 2 Psystorms? Amazing use of Templar there by Socke, and Satiini himself is certainly pretty impressed by that excellent use. And what do? There's Templar throwing Psystorms, and you never know when the carriers are going to sweep in. Tons of Stalkers and Zealots, so very, very strong Protoss force finally pressing in against this planetary fortress, able to drive back the infantry, but that is a tough thing to attack. Planetary fortress with a siege tank behind them. So nice Psystorm destroying the infantry, and finally those carriers coming to the front, getting shot at by these turrets, but too many interceptors, not going to be able to really push these back. The infantry with reinforcements coming from the Terran base might be able to hold off. We'll have to see. This planetary fortress being repaired by all the SCVs, steal that siege tank firing on anything gets too close. I think he is actually going to hold on here. These carriers are able to do tons of damage, but the missile turrets and these Marines are killing a fair number of interceptors. See all this reconstruction going on, those white dots are new interceptors being built. And more Psystorms going down, trying to prevent these missile turrets from being built. But looks like Satiini is able to hold this very, very strong hard point in the center of the map. But wasting no time, Socke is going to go hit every exposed part of his opponent's base. Flanking force, finally some Vikings to shoot at these carriers, but not enough. The carriers could just roll over these if they wanted to. Nice Psystorm again, more Marines going down. And just operating off of Vikings and Marines right now, can't afford any battlecruisers. And these carriers with infantry support are just tearing up all the expansions of Satiini. So here he is trying to push with some infantry and Vikings, and nice EMP, able to get the shields out of the carriers. 1 is going to go down, but 5 of them still standing with lots of hulls left. And it looks like the ground